In the direct aftermath of a massive political shockwave, the streets of Tehran are navigating a remarkably tense and shifting landscape. The Iranian parliament's National Security and Foreign Policy Committee has prepared a specific piece of legislation. It's titled the Counteraction Bill, and it offers exactly 50 million euros, roughly 58 million US dollars, to any individual or entity who assassinates the President of the United States or the Prime Minister of Israel. This massive bounty is the direct blowback from the February 28th military strikes on the capital, an operation that successfully assassinated the nation's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. The assassination pushed the region into a critical deadlock. The two countries are now entirely stalled over the terms of a durable peace agreement, with Washington publicly warning that another big hit could be imminent. Historically, a strike of this magnitude, followed by a multi-million-dollar bounty on a sitting U.S. president, triggers immediate, heavy military retaliation. But right now, the American executive branch is actively hitting the brakes. Instead of rushing into a catastrophic multinational war, the United States is intentionally slowing the timeline down. And to do it, the administration is publicly stripping its closest regional ally of their ability to act independently. To see how this stall tactic works, we have to look at the political landscape in Jerusalem, where the dynamic between the U.S. and Israel is actively shifting. Speaking directly to the press, Donald Trump is utilizing his public platform to actively reduce the diplomatic and military agency of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The rhetoric is highly calculated. Trump leads by praising Netanyahu as a wartime prime minister and a very good man, but uses that praise to set up a rigid boundary, plainly stating to reporters, "He'll do whatever I want him to do." This diagram illustrates a concept known as asymmetric alliance dynamics. It shows how high domestic vulnerability inside a smaller nation ends up weighing down its negotiating power when dealing with a much larger partner state. Trump is deliberately pressing on this exact vulnerability. He notes that Netanyahu is not being treated right at home in Israel, pointing a spotlight squarely on the prime minister's fragile domestic standing. The result is a clear departure from a united diplomatic front. The U.S. is demonstrating a unilateral command structure, explicitly claiming final say over Israel's military decisions. To justify this level of control, Trump relies on a specific rhetorical tool. He claims to have pulled polling data showing he holds a 99% approval rating within Israel itself. He even joked to reporters that after his presidency ends, he might just fly over and run for prime minister. It's a flex designed to position his own personal mandate above Netanyahu's local authority. But there is a concrete strategic reason for exerting this extreme leverage right now. Trump is using this dominance to actively stall the conflict timeline with Iran. This timeline tracks the current trajectory of the conflict against the American political calendar. It shows the march toward war hitting a wall at the U.S. midterms. Trump explicitly stated he is in no hurry to strike, citing the elections to delay. He also wants to keep casualties low, giving alternative pressures one final shot to secure an agreement before greenlighting military action. Domestic American electoral math is currently dictating the military posture of the Middle East. The war is frozen, entirely dependent on the U.S. political calendar. Back in Washington, the mechanics of this politically driven standstill come into sharp focus. We are watching a total personalization of U.S. foreign policy. The guardrails of traditional institutional alliances are being overwritten by the direct, personal leverage of the executive branch. The geopolitical stakes could not be higher. A dead supreme leader and a multi-million-dollar bounty sit on one side, held at bay by the dominance of a single office. Because Netanyahu lacks the political capital to escalate without absolute U.S. backing, the immediate threat of a sudden, uncoordinated Israeli strike on Tehran is effectively neutralized. The reality in the region has shifted. The equal partner dynamic between allied nations has been temporarily replaced by a strict one-man hierarchy dictated from the top down. As long as this exact power dynamic holds, the conflict remains in suspended animation. Both America's deadliest adversaries and its closest allies are waiting in limbo, entirely dependent on when one man decides he is ready to act.